The scissors made a sound I'll never forget. Not the cutting. That was almost silent against the silk. It was my sister's breathing. Heavy. Excited. Like she was unwrapping a gift on Christmas morning. I stood in the doorway of my childhood bedroom, watching Vanessa destroy $12,000 worth of custom ivory silk, and my mother sat in the corner chair, legs crossed, wine glass in hand, watching like it was dinner theater. "You know," Mom said, swirling her Cabernet, "you're marrying beneath us anyway, Margot. This is almost poetic." My fiancé's parents were standing right behind me. They'd come to drop off the wedding programs. They saw everything. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just smiled, turned to David's mother, and said 6 words that would detonate my entire family 4 hours later. "I need to make a phone call. My name is Margot Castellano. I'm 27 years old. I work as a senior financial analyst for a consulting firm in Boston. I make 6 figures. I own my apartment. I put myself through graduate school, and for 7 years I funded my mother and sister's entire lifestyle while they told everyone I was the family disappointment. This is the story of how I stopped paying for my own destruction. You need to understand something about my family. We weren't always wealthy. Dad made his money in commercial real estate in the 90s, sold at exactly the right time, and retired at 48. But he died when I was 19. Heart attack on the golf course. Vanessa was 16. Mom and Vanessa grieved by spending. Designer clothes, luxury vacations, the country club membership, the lease on Mom's Mercedes, Vanessa's artistic pursuits, which meant a photography hobby that cost more than most people's mortgages. I grieved by working, scholarships, internships, 80-hour weeks. I built something they couldn't take from me, or so I thought. The thing about family dysfunction is that it's never just one moment. It's 1,000 tiny cuts until you're bleeding out and everyone's asking why you're being so dramatic. Mom had always favored Vanessa, the beautiful one, the creative one, the one who needed protecting because she was sensitive. I was the practical one, the boring one, the one who always figured things out. Translation: I was the one who paid the bills. It started small after Dad died. Mom's car payment when the insurance money got tied up. Vanessa's college tuition when her grades didn't qualify for aid. The property taxes on the house. Just temporary, they said. Just until things stabilized. 7 years later, I was still the stabilizer. I met David 3 years ago at a conference in Chicago. He's a high school history teacher. Coaches basketball. Makes $47,000 a year. Volunteers at a homeless shelter on weekends. He's the kindest man I've ever met. My mother hated him on sight. "A teacher?" she'd said at our first family dinner, the word dripping with disdain. "Margot, darling, you can't be serious." "I am serious. I love him." Vanessa had laughed. Actually laughed. "God, Margot, you finally have money and status and you're going to throw it away on some public servant? What's next, a struggling artist? At least aim for a doctor." "Vanessa dates a bartender," I'd pointed out. "Chad is a mixologist," Mom had corrected. "He's opening his own craft cocktail bar. It's completely different." It wasn't different. Chad was using Vanessa's money, my money really, to fund his pipe dreams while she Instagrammed their entrepreneurial journey. But David was beneath us. David was the wrong choice. David was my rebellion against everything they valued. They'd spent 3 years trying to break us up. Snide comments, forgotten invitations, seating him at the kids' table at Thanksgiving, asking him about his retirement plan and investment portfolio at every opportunity. David took it all with grace I didn't deserve. He'd squeeze my hand under the table and later, in the car, he'd say, "They'll come around, they just need time." But they didn't need time. They needed me to fail. They needed my judgment to be wrong. They needed to be right about David, about me, about everything. The wedding planning was a nightmare from the start. "You're having the reception at the Botanical Gardens?" Mom had asked when I told her our plans. Margot, people of our standing get married at the country club. I don't want the country club. David and I want something more personal. David, David, David. Vanessa had sing-songed. Everything's about what David wants. Does David know you're paying off Mom's Amex? Does David know about the loan for my studio space? That's enough, I'd said quietly. Is it? Mom had set down her coffee cup with deliberate precision. Because I think we need to discuss something, Margot. Your father would be ashamed of this wedding. A teacher. A modest ceremony. You're destroying everything he built. Dad built a business. Not a dynasty. Not some social empire. Your father wanted his daughters to marry well. To maintain our position. Vanessa understands that. Chad comes from an excellent family. Chad's parents own a car dealership. A very successful car dealership. And they have connections. Chad has prospects. I'd laughed. Actually laughed. Chad has a drinking problem and 3 failed businesses. But sure, excellent family. Vanessa had stood up so fast her chair fell backward. You self-righteous bitch. You think you're better than everyone because you have some corporate job? You're boring, Margot. David's boring. This whole wedding is boring. You know what people are going to say? They're going to pity you. Let them. Mom and I won't be pitied because you couldn't do better. Then don't come. The silence that followed was nuclear. Mom had recovered first. She always did. Don't be childish. Of course we'll be there. We're family. I'm simply saying that perhaps a longer engagement would be wise. Give yourself time to reconsider. I'm not reconsidering. The wedding is in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Mom had turned pale. The invitations haven't even... They went out yesterday. I handled it myself. Vanessa's eyes had narrowed. You sent out invitations without showing us? I sent out invitations to my wedding, yes. What does the invitation say? What did you tell people about? It says, Margot Castellano and David Park request the pleasure of your company. Standard wording. Park. Mom had said his last name like it was a disease. You're actually taking his name? I'm hyphenating. Castellano Park. Absolutely not. I forbid it. And that's when I'd done it. That's when I'd finally said the thing I'd been thinking for 7 years. You don't get a vote anymore. You haven't earned one. Mom's face had gone from pale to crimson. I beg your pardon? You heard me. You don't get to control this. You don't get to criticize my choices. You don't get to make me feel small anymore. We've never... You've done nothing but. For years. And I'm done. Vanessa had grabbed her purse. Come on, Mom. She's clearly having some kind of breakdown. Probably cold feet. She'll apologize when she realizes what she's throwing away. They'd left. And for 10 beautiful days, I'd thought maybe that was it. Maybe they'd finally accepted they couldn't bully me into compliance. I should have known better. The wedding was Saturday afternoon. Friday night, David's parents arrived from Portland. Carol and James Park. Warm, funny, normal people who treated me like I was precious, who'd welcomed me into their family without prenups or judgment or conditions. They'd asked to meet my family one more time before the wedding. A peace offering. David thought maybe a casual dinner at the house might ease tensions. Your mom raised you in this house, Carol had said. It's important we all start off on the right foot. I'd agreed reluctantly. One dinner. Neutral territory. What could go wrong? Everything. Everything could go wrong. We'd arrived at 7. Mom had answered the door in head-to-toe Chanel, greeting David's parents with the kind of smile that never reached her eyes. The Parks. How lovely. Come in, come in. Margot, darling, your dress arrived this afternoon. It's in your old room. You should go check on it. My dress. Custom made. 3 fittings. Ivory silk with hand-beaded lace. Delivered that morning to my apartment, and I'd brought it here for Mom and Vanessa to see. One last attempt at normalcy. One last hope they'd be happy for me. I'd gone upstairs, leaving David and his parents making awkward small talk in the living room. The door to my childhood bedroom was ajar. Light spilled into the hallway. I'd pushed it open and seen Vanessa standing over the garment bag laid across my old bed, scissors in her hand, already buried 6 inches deep into the fabric. For a moment, my brain couldn't process it, couldn't make sense of what my eyes were seeing. She'd looked up, made eye contact, and smiled. Then she kept cutting. Stop. The word came out strangled. Vanessa, stop. The scissors made wet sounds through the silk. She'd moved methodically, destroying the bodice, severing the straps, shredding the lace. Stop! Mom appeared in the doorway behind me. Just appeared, like she'd been waiting. What's all the shouting? She looked at the dress, at Vanessa, and her expression hadn't changed. Hadn't shown surprise. Hadn't shown anything. Mom, she's destroying my dress. Oh, Vanessa. Mom had sighed like she'd found a broken glass, not witnessed felony-level property destruction. Darling, that's a bit dramatic, don't you think? Vanessa had kept cutting. The scissors tore through the train. Are you insane? I'd lunged forward, but Mom caught my arm. Don't make a scene, Margot. She's cutting up my wedding dress. It's a dress. You can buy another one. The wedding is tomorrow. Vanessa had finally stopped. She'd dropped the scissors onto the ruined silk and turned to face me, breathing hard, eyes bright with something that looked like euphoria. You're marrying beneath us anyway, Mom had said, still holding my arm. This is almost poetic, really. The dress matches the marriage, ruined before it even starts. That's when David's parents appeared at the door. Carol had gasped, audibly gasped. Oh my God! James had immediately pulled out his phone and started taking pictures. Years as a civil litigation attorney, he'd documented everything automatically. Mom had finally let go of my arm. She'd turned, seen the parks, and her mask had slipped. Just for a second. I'd seen panic. This is a family matter, she'd said, recovering quickly. A simple misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? Carol had moved past me to look at the dress. Her hand had flown to her mouth. That's deliberate destruction. That's criminal destruction of property. The sisters were having a disagreement. I was having a disagreement, I'd said quietly. Vanessa was committing a crime while you watched. Vanessa had laughed. Wild. Unhinged. Oh, please, Margot. Stop being so dramatic. It's a dress. You have plenty of money. Buy another one? Or don't. Maybe it's a sign. A sign of what? That you shouldn't go through with this farce of a wedding. You're not in love with him. You're settling because you're almost 30 and desperate. Vanessa, that's enough. James had stepped forward, his lawyer voice, all authority. Mrs. Castellano, I strongly suggest you control your daughter before this escalates. Escalates? Mom had laughed. Mr. Park, you're blowing this out of proportion. Sisters fight. Things get broken. Margot will calm down once. Margot is the only calm person in this room, Carol had said. She'd looked at me. Really looked at me. Honey, are you okay? And that's when I'd realized something. I wasn't okay. I hadn't been okay in years. But I was done pretending. I'd turned to Vanessa. Why? Because you don't deserve him. She'd screamed it, raw. You don't deserve any of this. You walk around acting so superior, so perfect, and you're just, say it. You're just the workhorse, the ATM, the boring one who doesn't know how to have fun or take risks or live. You're a robot in business casual, and David deserves someone with a soul. Vanessa, Mom had tried to interrupt. No, she needs to hear this. We've been protecting her feelings for years, tiptoeing around her, and for what? So she can throw her life away on some nobody teacher? So she can embarrass this family? I did her a favor. The silence that followed was absolute. Then David's voice came from the hallway. Did you just call my son a nobody? He'd been standing there. David. My David. I don't know how long he'd been listening. His face was pale, his hands were shaking, but his voice was steady. Mom had tried her smile. David, this isn't... Did you just call my son a nobody? I think everyone needs to calm down, Mom had said. This has gotten out of hand. Why don't we all go downstairs, have some wine, and discuss this like adults? Discuss what? David had moved into the room. He'd looked at the dress, at Vanessa, at my mother, then at me. Margot, we're leaving. David. Now. Get whatever you need. We're done here. Don't you dare speak to my daughter like that, Mom had said, ice in her voice. You don't give orders in this house. David had turned to her. With all due respect, Mrs. Castellano, your daughter just destroyed $12,000 worth of property while you watched and called it poetic. I don't think you get to talk about respect. Vanessa had moved toward him. You don't belong in this family, you never did. Margot's just too desperate to see it. Vanessa, I swear to God, if you take one more step. Carol had positioned herself between David and my sister. Are you threatening me? I'm documenting, James had said, still taking pictures. For the police report? Police report? Mom's voice had gone shrill. Don't be absurd. There's not going to be any police report. That's not your decision. I'd finally spoken. Everyone had looked at me. That's my dress, my property, my decision. Margot, don't be ridiculous. I'm calling the police. Mom had gone white. You wouldn't. Watch me. I'd pulled out my phone. Vanessa had lunged for it. David had caught her wrist. Don't touch her. Get your hands off me. Get your hands off my fiancé's property and I'll consider it. This is insane. Vanessa had wrenched free. Mom, do something. But Mom was looking at me. Really looking at me. And I saw it then. The calculation. The moment she realized I wasn't bluffing. Margot, she'd said carefully, think about what you're doing. The scandal. The embarrassment. Do you really want to start your marriage with police reports and family drama? The wedding is tomorrow. Let's find you a new dress. And we'll forget this happened. Forget. I'd tasted the word. You want me to forget that my sister destroyed my wedding dress while you watched and called my marriage a farce? I didn't say. You did. You said I was marrying beneath us. You said it was poetic. I was upset. I didn't mean. Yes, you did. I'd looked at Vanessa. And so did she. You've both meant every word you've ever said to me about David, about my choices, about my life. Margot, I'm done. I'd turned to David's parents. Can we go? Of course, honey, Carol had said immediately. Margot, if you leave this house right now. Mom's voice had turned hard, threatening. I'd stopped, turned back. What? You'll cut me off? Disown me? Mom, I've been cutting you checks for 7 years. What exactly are you going to do? The look on her face, the absolute shock, like she'd never considered that I knew, that I'd been keeping score. That's different, she'd managed. That's family. Family helps family. Then act like family. We are your family, your blood. And you're choosing these strangers? These strangers, Carol had said quietly, are about to be her family too. And unlike you, we're happy about it. I'd walked out. David's parents had followed. David had paused at the door. Mrs. Castellano, Vanessa, you're not welcome at my wedding. If you show up, I'll have you removed. Is that clear? You can't do that, Vanessa had shrieked. We're her family. No, David had said. You're her relatives. There's a difference. We'd left them there, Mom and Vanessa, standing in the wreckage of silk and lace and whatever twisted love they'd convinced themselves they'd been showing me. In the car, I'd finally looked at David. I'm sorry, I'd whispered. For what? For them. For all of it. For the dress, for Margot. He'd taken my hand. You have nothing to apologize for. Nothing. The wedding is tomorrow and I don't have a dress. Then we'll figure it out. Together. His mom had turned around from the front seat. We'll go shopping first thing in the morning. Emergency dress hunt, it'll be an adventure. I hadn't cried. Not then. I'd just nodded. But in my purse, my phone had buzzed. A text from Mom. You're making a mistake. Last chance to come back and apologize, otherwise you're on your own. I'd deleted it. Then I'd opened my banking app. That night, in David's apartment, I'd sat at his kitchen table with his parents while he'd made tea. Normal people, doing normal things, handling crisis with grace instead of gasoline. I have an idea, I'd said. But I need your honest opinion. Anything, Carol had said. I want to cut them off. Completely. Tonight. Silence. Cut them off how? James had asked carefully. Every payment I make for them. Every bill in their name that comes out of my account. The car payment. The country club dues. The mortgage on the house. The credit cards. All of it. More silence. Margot. David had set down the tea. Are you sure? That's a huge decision. Maybe wait until after the wedding. When you've had time to... No. I'd looked at him. I've had 7 years to think about it. They just destroyed my wedding dress out of spite while my future in-laws watched. They called you a nobody. They called our marriage a farce. When do I get to be done? You get to be done whenever you decide, Carol had said. But honey, that kind of action has consequences. Are you prepared for them? I've been preparing for this since the day my father died. I just didn't know it. James had pulled out his laptop. Walk me through what you're paying for. I'd listed it all. The car, the house, the utilities, the credit cards. 7 years of monthly transfers and automatic payments. 7 years of being the backup plan, the safety net, the invisible support system. Jesus, James had muttered. Margot, this is over $8,000 a month. $8,300 on average. More during holidays. David had gone pale. I didn't know. You never said. Because it was humiliating. My mother and sister spend my money while treating you like garbage, while treating me like their personal bank. I couldn't admit it out loud. Carol had reached across the table and taken my hand. You're not humiliated. You're generous. Too generous. They took advantage. So I stopped them. How fast can you stop the payments? James had asked. Most of them are automatic withdrawals that I can cancel tonight. The credit cards are trickier. They're authorized users on an account in my name. I can remove them, but they'll get notified. Do it, James had said. Do all of it. Document everything. And if they make threats, you call me immediately. I'd looked at David. You're quiet. I'm processing. He'd sat down. This is your family, Margot. I don't want you to do something you'll regret because of what happened tonight. I won't regret it. But if they retaliate, let them. I'd open my laptop. I've been afraid of them my whole life, afraid of disappointing them, afraid of their judgment, but tonight showed me the truth. They don't love me. They love what I provide. Carol had squeezed my hand, then stopped providing it. I'd spent the next 2 hours methodically dismantling 7 years of financial support, canceling automatic payments, removing authorized users, changing passwords. James had documented every single step, creating a file of screenshots and confirmations. The platinum credit card, the one Mom had gotten in both our names when I'd turned 21, the one I'd been paying off every month while she and Vanessa racked up charges, took the longest. I can't remove them without closing the entire account, I'd said, staring at the balance. $32,000. What's the limit? James had asked. 50,000. He'd whistled. They've maxed it out before, haven't they? Twice. I paid it off both times. Then close it. Pay off the balance. Close the account. Open a new one in your name only. But if I close it now is perfect. James had smiled. Because I guarantee you they're going to try to use that card tomorrow. And when they do, they're going to learn a very important lesson about consequences. I'd closed the account at 11:47 p.m. At 11:49 p.m., I'd gotten 3 texts. Mom, we need to talk about your behavior tonight. Breakfast tomorrow. Don't be late. Vanessa, hope you're happy. Mom's devastated. You always have to make everything about you. Mom again. And bring that dress money, since you're being dramatic about replacements. I'd blocked both numbers, then I'd slept better than I had in years. Saturday morning, Carol and I had hit every bridal shop in the city. Fourth store, we'd found it. A simple, elegant column dress in champagne silk. Off the rack, but perfect. The seamstress had pinned it in 20 minutes. "You look beautiful," Carol had said, crying. "You're crying more than I did when my dress got destroyed. Because you're in shock. You'll process later. Right now we're getting you married." The wedding was at 4 p.m. Small ceremony, 50 guests. Botanical gardens in full bloom. At 2:30 p.m., while I was getting ready, David's phone rang. He'd answered, frowned, handed it to me. "It's the venue. They want to talk to you." "Ms. Castellano, this is Jennifer from the gardens. I'm so sorry to bother you on your wedding day, but we have a small issue." My stomach had dropped. What kind of issue? "Two women tried to enter the venue about an hour ago. They said they were family. Your mother and sister? They're not on the guest list." That's what we told them. They became agitated. We had to ask security to escort them out. They're making threats about lawsuits and ignore them. They're not welcome here. Understood. There's one more thing. They're sitting in a car in the parking lot. They haven't left. I'd closed my eyes. Of course they hadn't left. "Do you want us to call the police?" Jennifer had asked. "Not yet. Let me think." I'd hung up. David had looked at me. "They showed up? They're in the parking lot. On the day we uninvited them to a wedding after destroying your dress. After everything, they still showed up. They don't know how to lose." I'd sat down. "They've never had to. Margot, we can handle this. We'll have security." "No. I don't want them to ruin this day any more than they already have. Let them sit in the parking lot. Let them watch everyone else arrive. Let them realize they're not part of this." Carol had touched my shoulder. "You sure?" "I'm sure." The ceremony had been perfect. David had cried. I hadn't. Something Carol had been right about earlier. I was still in shock. Still processing. But I'd meant every word of those vows. Afterward, at the reception, while guests had been eating dinner, while David and I had been making the rounds of tables, Jennifer had appeared again. "I'm so sorry to interrupt. Your mother and sister are still in the parking lot. They've been there for 4 hours. We're concerned. They'll leave eventually." Actually, they tried to enter through the service entrance about 30 minutes ago. We stopped them. "But Ms. Castellano, they seem increasingly unstable. Your mother is drinking in the car. Your sister tried to fight with our security guard." I'd excused myself, walked outside. David had followed. Sure enough, there was Mom's Mercedes, parked at the edge of the lot. I could see 2 figures inside. "This is insane," David had muttered. "Should we call the police?" Before I could answer, the car doors had opened. Mom and Vanessa had gotten out. Mom had been in a cocktail dress. Vanessa in something tight and red, like they'd dressed for a party they weren't invited to. "Margot!" Mom had called out. "Margot, we need to talk." "There's nothing to talk about. Please." She'd started walking toward us, unsteady, definitely drunk. "This is ridiculous. It's your wedding day. We're your family. You destroyed my dress. You called my husband a nobody. You told me I was marrying beneath me. I was upset. I didn't mean it." "Yes, you did." I'd stayed calm, eerily calm. "You meant every word. Just like Vanessa meant it when she cut up my dress while you watched." Vanessa had moved closer. "You self-righteous bitch. You think you're so much better than us." "No. I just know I deserve better from you. We raised you," Mom had shrieked. "We gave you everything. Dad gave me everything. You spent it. How dare you? How much is left, Mom? Of Dad's life insurance? Of the investments? How much did you and Vanessa burn through?" She'd gone pale. "That's what I thought. We needed that money to maintain our lifestyle. To do what? Buy designer clothes? Take vacations? Lease cars you can't afford? While I worked 80-hour weeks to keep you from losing the house? You offered to help. I was 19 years old and terrified of losing you too. You manipulated me. Vanessa had laughed, bitter. Oh, here we go. Poor Margot. The victim. You loved playing the hero, the responsible one, the one who had it all together. It made you feel superior. It made me feel necessary. There's a difference. You're ungrateful. Mom had spat. After everything we sacrificed. What did you sacrifice? Name one thing. Silence. You can't, can you? Because you didn't sacrifice anything. I did. I sacrificed my 20s, my relationships, my peace of mind. I sacrificed 7 years of my life making sure you were comfortable while you made me feel worthless. That's not true. It is true. And I'm done. Done with. What? Done paying for you? The look on Mom's face, like I'd slapped her. What are you talking about? I'm talking about the car payment that stopped this morning, the house payment that's not coming on the 1st, the country club dues, the credit card, all of it. I canceled everything last night. You can't do that. I can, I did. Vanessa had started laughing, hysterical. You're bluffing. You need us. You've always needed us. No, you've always needed me. There's a difference. Mom had pulled out her phone. This is ridiculous. She'd frozen. My card. My card's not working. Because I closed the account. You what? I closed it. Last night. Paid off the balance and closed it. That's my card. No, it was a card with both our names that I paid for. Emphasis on was. Vanessa had moved toward me. David had stepped between us. Don't. He'd said quietly. You can't do this. Mom's voice had gone shrill. You can't just cut us off? We have bills. Obligations. Margot, please, be reasonable. I was reasonable for 7 years. I'm done being reasonable. But the house is your problem now. The car. Lease or buy it yourself. You're destroying our lives. No. I'm letting you live in the reality you created. You spent Dad's money. You spent my money. Now you can figure out how to spend your own. That's when Jennifer had appeared again. Ms. Castellano? I'm sorry, but there's a call for... She'd paused, looked at Mom and Vanessa. For Mrs. Castellano and Ms. Castellano, from the venue coordinator. Mom had looked confused. What? Your venue coordinator. For your event next month? She says it's urgent. Vanessa had gone pale. Next month? What event? Mom had grabbed the phone Jennifer had offered. Hello? Yes, this is... What? No, there must be some mistake. My card is... She looked at me. Pure poison. No, no, that's impossible. Try it again. Mom? Vanessa had touched her arm. Mom, what's happening? The card declined. For the engagement party. My heart had stopped. What engagement party? I'd asked slowly. Chad's parents. They're throwing us an engagement party. At the plaza, black tie, 300 guests. Next month. The venue needed a deposit and... Mom had looked at the phone. They're saying our card declined. But that's impossible because I closed it. I'd started laughing. The platinum card. The one you just tried to use for a $30,000 engagement party. I closed it last night. Vanessa had grabbed the phone from Mom. This is Vanessa Castellano. There's been a mistake. Can you try the card again? The platinum card ending in... Her face had changed. What do you mean closed? No, that's... Try it again. It's closed, I'd repeated. Gone. Done. And judging by your panic, I'm guessing you already signed the contract? Mom had sat down on the ground. Just sat right down on the gravel. Oh my God, she'd whispered. The deposit. We signed. We committed to... She'd looked up at me. Margot, you have to fix this. No. Margot! You just tried to throw a $30,000 engagement party with my money without asking me, while sitting in a parking lot trying to crash my wedding. After destroying my dress. After calling my husband a nobody. But Chad's parents, they invited everyone, society people, important people. We can't cancel. Then I guess you'll need to find another way to pay for it. Vanessa had dropped the phone. You vindictive bitch. This was planned. This was all planned. You knew about the engagement party. I had no idea about the engagement party, but I knew about the credit card, and I knew you'd try to use it for something. I just didn't realize it would be this spectacular. You did this on purpose. You waited until... I waited until I was done being your ATM. The timing's just karma. Mom had started crying. We'll be ruined. Humiliated. Everyone will know we can't pay. Then tell them the truth. Tell them your daughter stopped funding your lifestyle. Tell them you've been living beyond your means for years. Tell them whatever you want. Margot, please, I'm begging you. Just this once. Just cover the deposit. No. I'll pay you back. You've been saying that for 7 years. The answer is no. But Chad's parents, his family, they'll think we're poor? I'd finished. Yeah. Maybe they will. Maybe that's good. Maybe they should know who they're actually dealing with. Vanessa had lunged at me. David had caught her. Security had arrived. Get them out of here, I'd said to Jennifer. Now. Mom had been sobbing. You're destroying us. Your own family. How can you... You destroyed yourselves. I just stopped paying to rebuild you. They'd been escorted off the property. Vanessa screaming threats. Mom crying. Creating exactly the kind of scene they'd always accused me of making. David had pulled me close. You okay? Yeah, I really am. We'd gone back to our wedding. Danced. Celebrated. Lived. And I'd never looked back.